You are standing in your kitchen, watching a line of ants march across the counter like they own the house. You just hung up the phone with an exterminator who quoted you $800 for a quarterly protection plan. He claimed that without professional-grade chemicals, your home is a breeding ground, that modern pests have evolved. He was lying. While he tried to hook you into a lifetime subscription, your great-grandmother was quietly keeping a $4 bag of powder in her pantry that killed every crawling insect in her home. No toxic chemicals needed. You probably thought she was using some high-strength vintage pesticide like DDT. She was not. What she used in 1947 for $3.50 is still sold in the garden section of hardware stores across America today. It is completely legal, completely safe for your children and pets, and devastatingly effective. The $20 billion pest control industry has spent 50 years making sure you never hear its name. The product is called diatomaceous earth, specifically food-grade diatomaceous earth. By the end of this, you will know about the documented 1972 suppression event where industry lobbyists pressured the EPA to remove this powder from public health recommendations. You will see the 1989 University of Florida study proving this dust outperforms the most expensive chemicals on the market. Most importantly, you will learn the single application method that makes pest elimination permanent instead of temporary. Diatomaceous earth is not a poison. It is fossilized history. Millions of years ago, microscopic single-celled algae called diatoms lived in the oceans. When they died, their silica-based skeletons settled into massive deposits. When ground into a fine powder, these skeletons become the most lethal mechanical weapon ever discovered. Under a microscope, a single grain looks like a shard of broken glass with razor-sharp edges. To a human finger, it feels like soft flour. But for an insect walking through this powder, it is like crawling through a mile of jagged glass and razor wire. The powder slices through the waxy protective coating on an insect's exoskeleton. Once breached, the insect cannot retain moisture. It dehydrates completely within hours. Chemical pesticides work differently. They disrupt a biological process. Over time, bugs like roaches and bedbugs evolve thicker shells or enzymes to neutralize the poison. But no insect can evolve to defend against being physically sliced open. It is mechanical death. As long as the powder stays dry, it stays sharp. One application does not just kill today's bugs, it remains on guard for years. In the late 1940s, this was common knowledge. Farmers used it to protect grain silos, and homeowners kept kitchens pristine. In 1948, Farm Journal magazine reported homeowners clearing massive infestations for less than $3. Everything changed in 1972. That was the year the National Pest Management Association was formed, a lobbying powerhouse designed to protect the recurring revenue model of chemical treatments. They went straight to the EPA and successfully pressured them to remove diatomaceous earth from recommended household methods. They did not argue it was dangerous or ineffective. No. Their claim was it was too simple. They insisted homeowners needed professional assessment to handle pest problems. It was a calculated move to kill a $4 solution so they could sell an $800 a year problem. 17 years later, in 1989, researchers at the University of Florida tested the industry's modern chemicals against this ancient powder. They focused on the hardest pests to kill bedbugs. The results were stunning. Diatomaceous earth achieved a 100% kill rate within 48 hours. The chemical treatments only reached 72 to 89% effectiveness, and they required repeated, expensive reapplications because the bugs had already developed resistance. The study was published in the Journal of Economic Entomology. The industry's response? Total silence. They buried the data. You cannot build a billion-dollar empire on fossilized algae that costs mere pennies. Sprays and chemical treatments only offer temporary relief. They act as flushing agents, pushing bugs deeper into your walls, never truly eliminating the problem. To reclaim control, you must deploy the ancient barrier. First, buy food-grade diatomaceous earth. Do not use pool-grade, it is heat-treated and hazardous to inhale. Food grade is so safe it is used as an additive in grain storage for human consumption. Second, use the proper application method. Do not dump it in piles, it is messy and ineffective. Purchase a hand duster or even a clean condiment squeeze bottle. You need to create a fine, nearly invisible cloud of dust that insects must cross. Third, you perform the perimeter lockdown. Inside your home, dust behind baseboards, under the sink, and behind the refrigerator. If you have bed bugs, treat mattress seams and electrical outlets where they hide during the day. Then you perform the secret exterior barrier. In 1965, the USDA published a manual describing the perimeter lock. You apply a thin line of this powder around the entire foundation of your home. Any insect attempting to enter must cross this dead zone. They will be dead before they reach your kitchen. The math the industry does not want you to see is simple. A quarterly visit from an exterminator costs about $200, that is $800 a year. A 10-pound bag of diatomaceous earth costs $15 and covers your house for 2 years. That is a savings of over $1,500 every 24 months. Multiply that across 140 million homes in America, and you can see why the empire is terrified. They rely on you paying for ongoing management because they fear true elimination. Your great-grandmother was not a chemist. She just knew what worked. She lived in an era before recurring revenue mattered more than results. She used a $4 bag of dust to keep her home a fortress. Today, you can do the same. Stop paying for poison that does not work. Take back your home. Take back your wallet.